So someone wrote in and said, I've been listening to your advice and I just put myself out there feeling really vulnerable, only to be told by my family that I'm insecure and my husband, and that the cause behind all of our fights and pretty much all the unsuccessful talking is because of my insecurity. I feel really alone and crazy, and worse than when I said nothing at all. I need guidance on how to have feelings arise and not act impulsively and know how to discuss them. So, great question.
This is Kathy Vartuli from the IntimacyDojo.com.
This is Reed Mahalka from ReadAboutSex.com.
Your entire family, they're fools, my friend. Oh, person who just wrote in, we like you. And anyone in your family, they came up to me, I would just say, you're not the one I want to talk to. I want to talk to the insecure person who's using their words and speaking up, the ones you oppose. You're so wrong. They are awesome. You are awesome. I just thought I wanted to say that.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it can be really scary to share vulnerably. And thank you for your courage, because it does make a difference in the world when you open up. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to handle that.
They want you the way you used to be.
Yeah, and when people feel overwhelmed, they sometimes, like, if someone shares and they don't know what to do, it's really common to blame. And to say, no, you're wrong. And the truth is, you may be feeling insecure. Insecurity is something people feel and experience.
Especially when you're being vulnerable, and especially when you're being vulnerable for the first time.
Yeah.
Who is supposed to feel confident and secure when they're trying something new?
Yeah. And we're doing something new. It's really common for us. Like, I've done this too, where when I was first learning to share stuff, I would jump in the deep end, and I would splash around because I didn't know what I was doing, and people didn't always receive it. Like, depending on the person, some people were like, "Oh, that's fantastic! You know, you're actually going to get better at this," because I would be kind of like all over the place, and other people were just like, "Oh." So, you want to hang out with the people that want to hear you, and being insecure is really painful. I've gone through a lot of that. And whatever you can do to support yourself and find people that are going to love you and help you feel like you're okay. Hanging out with people that tell you you're not okay does not help you feel more secure, I promise you. So people that are telling you you're wrong or that there's something wrong with you, that won't help you feel more secure.
Yeah. And that can be tricky because a lot of us have to go home to our families. Yeah. Have to go home to our partners.
Well, we can choose how much we share with our families. And there are times when it's better to upgrade. As painful as that may sound. And I'm not saying based on what you shared that that's the case. It can also be that you might have surprised them. Like, people that aren't used to you sharing, if you suddenly open up, they may be just surprised and they may be fine with it a week later.
And also the distinction between you may be sharing with them your feelings, and they don't know how to handle your feelings, and that you're having feelings is why they think you're insecure. Because somebody who's secure is not rocked by anything and has no feelings.
That's kind of what we're taught, John Wayne School of...
Yeah. So, oh my goodness, you have complaints or things coming up for you. You has the feels, so you must be insecure. And that's just a misconception. So, a lot of people can have that. And if you mix that with you're surprising them by finally finding your words, and then maybe sprinkle on top of it a little bit of, they kind of liked you better when you were quiet, then, they are just having a reaction. What I would do if you can, because we don't know you, is ask them for feedback. Like, so they're like, but you're being insecure. And you're like, okay, so thank you for sharing that. But, like, what if I'm actually not insecure, but just asking?
Well, there can be sharing feelings, because I mean, just sharing from the perspective of someone who does get insecure sometimes. They're sharing, I feel vulnerable, or I feel this, versus I feel these things and I want you to fix it. Which can be really hard for people to even pretty savvy people to, like, it's not their job to fix it. And I've learned to ask for reassurance specifically when I needed it. Like, I'm feeling really insecure right now. I'm feeling like I'm not really worthwhile and I'm not bringing a lot to this. Could you reassure me about a couple things that you notice that you really like about me being part of this?
Mm-hmm.
That gives them very concrete things they can do and talk to versus I'm having all these feelings and I need someone to fix them for me, which is more therapy, coaching type of.
And what's your distinction for you personally between like needing reassurance and how and what is insecurity? Right? Like, because some people could, like the John Wayne school,
Mm-hmm.
is you don't need reassurance because you're secure.
Right.
So insecure means you need, like, how does that occur to you?
I think it's when I feel insecure. I'm not from the John Wayne school. Like, I do have feelings and I do have emotions. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on in their heads. But
Well, I'll tell you. That was a horrible John Wayne
this was
impersonation.
really
If you know
bad.
who that is.
Yeah, but he just had chocolate covered espresso beans, so we have to let
Blame
it go.
that.
Yeah. No, when I'm feeling insecure, the hamsters in my head are telling me that I'm not worthwhile. I don't bring enough to counteract my awkwardness because I can be very awkward at times. Or like people don't want to hear me, and they can just get really loud in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And there's times when I wish someone else would fix it or someone else would, love me enough so I didn't ever have those hamsters.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is they're kind of there, and sometimes they're loud, and I get to deal with them, but I can certainly ask for a friend or multiple friends to help me remember what's useful about me and what they love about me.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. And people that are overwhelmed are more likely to hear sharing, especially if they think they're supposed to do something but don't know what to do. It's easier for them to react and say, "Oh, you're bad for sharing this." It's easier to blame and push people away.
I think the big thing is I just want to acknowledge the person who wrote in and congratulate them for finding their words and starting to speak up. Like, that is an act of courage, and you are awesome. And these are baby steps. So I think the big thing for me is I realized that when I did use my voice and speak up, people would often freak out. And that was normal. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't freak out that they were freaking out.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't get insecure on a good day. On a bad day, I would just get insecure. I wouldn't get insecure when somebody would call me on my insecurity or thought I was being insecure. So I got more curious and interested in like, oh, so why do you say that? And so that's been very useful for me to ask them more about what's going on for them. Because a lot of people just make decisions and they don't know why they made the decision, and then the word just comes out of their mouth. Mm-hmm. And then when you ask them for more detail, they're like, well, I don't know. And then I'm just like, so you don't even know why you said that thing that you said, which allowed me to be like, whatever. Like, you don't know what you're talking about because something else is going on for you because you're stuck in 7th grade weirdness or whatever's going on. Mm-hmm. And this has less to do about me. And that helped me from my brain making it mean all this stuff.
Yeah. So if you can, just be really gentle with with yourself, and practice, take baby steps with other people too, not just with your family. Our family, most families are full of landmines. There's all the old unresolved stuff and things people have pushed away. I encourage...
They're not watching all these videos and are awesome.
You are, yeah. I encourage my clients to practice with friends that have been really reliable and to start with small things to kind of build up their muscles around it and to leave the family for a little bit down the road.
Yeah, that's advanced black belt stuff.
Yeah. We hope this helped.
Leave comments.